This is St. Louis Cardinals baseball, and it's a day game. We're in Milwaukee where the roof is open at Miller Park. Game number 3, the St. Louis Cardinals and the Milwaukee Brewers. Jim Hayes is here. That's the Cardinals Hall of Famer Jim Edmonds. I'm Dan McLaughlin. Miles Michaelis will go today in game number 3, a strike thrower, and really can throw strikes with just about any pitch in his arsenal.
Yeah, he can really set the tone for the defense for the day. He goes out there and throws everything he has in his arsenal for strikes. Up, down, in and out, slider, fastball, curveball, and he really keeps his team in the game.
Chase Anderson will go for the Milwaukee Brewers, so it's Miles Michaelis, Chase Anderson, and the Cardinals in desperate need of a win. It has been a very tough series so far. The Cardinals blown out in game 1, tight game in game 2. What happens game 3? We're about to find out. Baseball is coming up. is brought to you by Budweiser. Wherever legendary MLB moments happen, Budweiser will be there. By Chevrolet, the #1 selling brand in the St. Louis area. Find yours at your Mid-America Chevy dealer. Hank Aaron statue outside the ballpark. Roof is open. And a beautiful day for baseball. Cardinals looking for a turnaround, looking for some offense. Matt Carpenter leads it off when we come back on Fox Sports Midwest. It is a gorgeous day here in Wisconsin. Along with Jim Edmonds, I'm Dan McLaughlin. Jim Hayes is here as well. The roof is open. Shadows do become a factor in the ball game when the roof is open, and we'll see if that does play a factor into this ball game today. Matt Carpenter, Tommy Pham, and Jose Martinez, followed by Ozuna, Molina, Jerko, Munoz, Bader, and Michaelis, the starting 9 for St. Louis. Well, Chase Anderson, last year he was 12-4. The ERA was under 3. He made 25 starts. This season at 14 starts, 5-6. ERA is near 4.5. So it's a different year for Chase Anderson. And the Hyundai pitch arsenal, fastball, slider, curve, and change. Carpenter does have 7 walks, but 3 for 17 against this right-hander. Starts him off with a breaking ball, and we are underway here for game number 3. And his 17th career leadoff homer on Thursday night. Season now, team high 13 homers. 74 degrees here in Milwaukee. 1 ball and 1 strike. Carpenter's average now at .239 on the year. Popped up left side. Travis Shaw in foul territory. Makes the catch. Let's turn to Jim Edmonds. Toyota, key to the game.
Danny, we got to generate some offense. We got to get the little ball going. We got to drive some runs in from third with less than 2 outs. Move some guys around. Put the ball in play. That home runs are nice, but obviously it's a tough way to make a living off the home run ball.
Here's Tommy Pham. He was ejected after striking out in the first inning last night. Cardinals overall with 15 strikeouts in game 2 of this series, and on the road trip they played 5 games and have struck out an astounding 59 times.
That's a lot. It really is. Really haven't run against too many aces either. It's just one of those trends that kind of becomes overwhelming at times.
On the inside corner, and a strikeout of Tommy Pham. Thames, Kane, and Yelich. That trio in the outfield for Milwaukee. Around the horn, presented by Dobbs. Shaw, Perez, Miller, Aguilar along the infield, and Manny Pena is behind the plate. Jose Martinez, 3 for his last 27. Cardinals here in the month of June, they played 20 games, this one being number 21. Only 6 times have they not hit a home run. And if they don't hit a home run, they don't win. To further your point about playing small ball and trying to get something going besides the home run. Oh, it's 6.
It's another one of those things that's contagious, right? A couple guys hit home runs, a couple other guys hit home runs. You get you get Colton Wong hitting a home run. Now all of a sudden everyone's trying to juice the ball. The ball's juiced a little bit. Bats are hard. Ball's flying, but it's not as easy as it looks.
The 2-0 pitch now to Jose Martinez. Misses in. Jose among the top 10 of the National League against right-handed pitching this year. A .311 batting mark, 3-0 the count. Also in the top 10 opponents in the average against Anderson. It's only .220. That's taken high in a 2-out walk. Marcell Ozuna is 2 for his last 21 with 8 strikeouts. But very good numbers against Anderson. 7 for 16, a home run, and he's driven in 2. That home run was a long one, and I mean one of the longest we've ever seen at this ballpark off the bat of Ozuna. That was earlier in the year. Watch this one. My goodness. Here's a 1-0. Jimmy, you played this ballpark a number of times. Hard to hit day games with the shadows.
Sometimes it is. Right now I don't think it's too bad, because if you look out there, the backdrop is still dark. It's when that backdrop is light, it's an issue. It doesn't matter where the shadows are, you just want the backdrop to be dark. So right now just the sun in the outfield is fine. When that changes a little bit, the sun gets down where you get some light on that backdrop, that is not good.
And all of a sudden 3-0 now on Ozuna after getting the first 2 outs. 4 straight to Martinez, and now 7 straight balls by Anderson. I say turn him loose. The 3-0. They do. He may have chased the ball.
That's the thing about hitting too, is played with Rod Carew, and his big thing is if you're going to swing 2-0, 3-1, 3-0, you better be on time early and hitting balls to left field, foul. Anything on top being in front and cannot be behind. You got to be able to cheat and get after it. No reason to be late. And that's a hard concept to grasp when you're hitting, but it makes sense.
Bring it 0 to a full count on the Cardinals left fielder Marcell Ozuna. Short lead at first by Martinez. Outfield is deep, and a shift on the left side of the infield. Line foul. Almost got the beer vendor. He's one of the most important people here at the ballpark. Just ask the fans.
Now he's ducking. A little late.
Wow. Month of June, Ozuna hit safely in 16 of the 20 games, but in a little bit of a rut right now. There's the shift. And the 3-2. That's driven out to right center. Kane back, and with just enough room, makes the catch. Cardinals strand a runner, and Miles Michaelis takes to the mound. Michaelis and the Cardinals looking to rebound here in game number 3. Bottom of the first rolls in. In his last start, took a no decision, an eventual 6-5 loss against the Phillies. His season numbers, he's 7-2 on the year. Talked about it in the open. Any one of those pitches, fastball, slider, curve, changeup, he can throw it for strikes at any point in the count. And that's a look at your Hyundai pitch arsenal. The lineup for Milwaukee with Thames, Yelich, and Kane. Shaw, Aguilar, 2 home runs last night. Brad Miller, his season debut in the big leagues. Hernan Perez, Manny Pena, and Chase Anderson. Thames 1 for 6. That one hit, a home run against Michaelis. It's a different looking Eric Thames, gone the beard. First time he had shaved that beard in over 4 years. And a ground ball pulled foul. Well, here today it's Davey Nelson afternoon at the ballpark. You see the patch being worn by the Milwaukee Brewers on their right sleeve. Speedy infielder, 10 big league seasons, former All-Star in 1973. Was a major league coach on those great Indian teams the late 90s, and then eventually came to Milwaukee. And then worked on their broadcast, did a lot of their pre and post game shows.
He's a great man.
Those are Nelly patches being worn on those sleeves. Right field corner named Nelly's Corner. That's where they host their pre and post game shows. He had a tremendous connection with an orphanage in South Africa. That's probably his greatest legacy. Brewers now adopted as their own, and the logo of the Open Arms Foundation, which Davey started, and his golf tournament will be on Monday, and hundreds of thousands of dollars will be raised. The 2-2 lifted in the air out to shallow left, and that'll drop for a base hit. Cardinals defensively with Ozuna in left, Pham in center, Bader in right. Carpenter, Munoz, Jerko, Martinez, and Molina behind the plate. Around the horn, presented by Dobbs. There's Christian Yelich. Marlins last year were 27th in attendance. Over the span of 5 years that Yelich played there at the bottom. And the Brewers are averaging about 34,000 a game. So quite a difference. Home games for Christian Yelich.
A little different.
Saying the other day that every game here in Milwaukee, it matters. Fans care. They come out. They support us. Same could be said in St. Louis with the great crowds over the years. And again, over 3 million tickets sold. 1 ball, 1 strike on Yelich. Ryan Braun, by the way, hasn't started since Monday. He had a cryogenic injection in his right thumb. Struggling at the plate, sitting again today. That's it down the left field line, but foul. Imagine if you had a healthy Ryan Braun, they'd have some very, very tough decisions. Be a tough seat behind that dude.
Even without the hat. It's a big old boy. What would you call that? Is that a 20-gallon hat? 30-gallon hat?
Big hat. Michaelis will go to second and not in time. Cardinals are challenged, but I thought he was safe.
This is getting frustrating. I think this is the problem with what they've done in the league now is now every player on every play wants the play to go his way. And it's just, I think this slows the game down.
And the Cardinals will challenge. I thought to the naked eye he was safe, but if the Cardinals are challenging, they probably have good evidence to overturn the call. It's Pat Murphy there in the background, Craig Counsell, the manager, and the umpires on the headset to New York. Take a look here. Awfully close. To further your point, Jimmy, that
I mean, even if this is right, which I get, I understand, it's just it happens too much. It's every play. Every play that's bang bang is the players want to challenge it. He's definitely out on that replay. It just goes to show you how tough the call is for the umpire. I mean, up here he looked safe, right? Everyone thought he was safe, and if you look at it in slow motion, looks like he's out.
Well, Mike Matheny has asked his players to be emphatic if they do believe that the play should go their way, and it does. So they do get the lead man. And the batter will be Lorenzo Cain. Michaelis made his debut right here, this ballpark, April 2nd, went 5 2/3, 4 earned. And then his next start was against the Brewers, 6 1/3, 4 earned in that game at Busch Stadium. Since that time, he's made 12 starts, 6 2, ERA just above 2. He's undefeated on the road and in day games. I mean, anywhere you want to look, the guy has had a tremendous start to his season.
It happens when you have tremendous stuff and tremendous confidence and go out there and perform.
Lorenzo Cain detests day games. He hates them. But yet he's hitting .326 in the day, and that's 9th best in the National League. He likes those night games.
It's probably a battle. He knows when he wakes up he's going to have to deal with some shadows. He's standing out in the sun. Everyone else is standing in the shade.
Cardinals have played a ton of day games this year. It's It's been an erratic schedule in terms of just trying to get a rhythm to it. That Kane hit by a pitch.
He's not having a good couple days.
Well, if you're the Milwaukee Brewers, you're saying, now wait a minute. That is now 362 batters, and Miles Michaelis has walked 10 on the year. The idea being he's one of the best control pitchers in the game, and that one drills him in the back.
Yeah, but by no means is he trying to hit him in that position right there. With first inning with the guy on first and 1 out. It's just when you try to pitch guys in, and you have to pitch guys in, ball's going to get away. And a lot of the scouting reports aren't pitching everyone in, but obviously it's pitching Lorenzo Cain in, and that's what's going to happen.
Travis Shaw 4 for 6 against Michaelis. 2 of the 4 hits have gone for extra bases. Tweaked his wrist on Sunday. Missed a couple of the games in Pittsburgh and back in there for this series against the Cardinals. Runners at first and second, and an 0-1 pitch. Pitched him in, jammed him just enough, fouled back. 2 strikes on Shaw. It's been really a tough road trip for the Cardinals. You think about how they've lost a couple of those games, and that includes the last time out for Michaelis, where had a rough first inning, then pitched through 5. Cardinals struck out 19 times in the game and eventually had a lead in the 10th that they gave up. And the 1-2 pitch. Fouled back again. On deck, Jesus Aguilar. Pulled foul. This big crowd ready to erupt. There is a feeling around this city that this team is awfully good, and they're starting to feel it in this series. Especially when you have games like last night.
That was a big win for the Brewers last night, especially the excitement level for the fans.
You bet.
Time you get a walk-off homer, that's going to carry over for a while.
3 hits in the game and 2 home runs. That was it for Milwaukee, and that was just enough. Cardinals now 6.5 back with the 2 losses. Chicago has dropped a couple against the Reds, and Milwaukee enjoys a 2-game lead and 15 games above the 500 mark. Very similar to what happened in Philly. Wasn't nearly as sharp as we have seen him. But once the first inning got through, he settled in.
And pitching's like hitting. You can lose your mechanics. You can go in slumps, and you can lose the feel of some of your pitches here and there. And you can either gain it back during the game, or you have to wait until you work on it in the bullpen. And hopefully, like the other day in Philly, he can just get it back in the middle of the game. Sometimes it's not that easy.
So be the 9th pitch of the at bat.
Sometimes, Danny, it's little as where your foot lands on the mound. If you land a little open or a little close, it throws off your whole mechanics. You just lose that pinpoint control.
He's hit a man, he's walked a man, and now the base is loaded for the hottest man. Jesus Aguilar broke up the no-hitter, going down to get that. with 1 out of the 7, and then won it in the 9th.
To let the party begin. Some kind of celebration they had going on last night.
We had a shot of Mike Matheny just staring at it.
Let the grounds crew do a little extra work after the game, cleaning up the home plate area. Worth every minute of it.
The base is loaded. Aguilar drives it out to right. And backing up to make the catch, Bader. Run scores 1-0 Milwaukee. His 50th RBI.
You can see why he's had some success, especially with the RBIs. So strong. This ball's right here to hit. Short swing, middle in. You see a lot of big guys like that being able to go the other way. Just trying to hit the ball in the air and almost goes out to the deepest part of the park in right center field.
Jimmy, to me, you hit it on the head. It's a short, compact swing.
Both of those home runs last night, he didn't even finish his swing.
Here's Brad Miller making his Brewers debut. And a little floater. Munoz won't get it. Run will score, and it's 2-0. Again, where the shift comes into play on that ball is Munoz was more towards second base. And now runners at first and second for Hernan Perez. Perez over the last month or so hitting above 300. And he's at shortstop today. Milwaukee made a move prior to our first pitch. They optioned Domingo Santana to AAA Colorado Springs. He hasn't started a game since June 12th. Remember, Santana had 30 home runs last year. Oh, 0-2 the count.
This is why when you go home in the winter, you keep working. You never know what's going to happen the year after. It's hard to get. It's getting here is one thing. Staying here is another.
Keon Broxton in the minor leagues. Santana. Keon Broxton was a 2020 man a season ago for the Brewers. And Aguilar was a long shot to make the opening day roster, but he made it at the expense of Broxton. New year, another chance. He's made the most of it. Here's the 0-2 pitch to Hernan Perez. A strikeout, the first of the afternoon for Michaelis in a big inning and a nice start for Craig Counsell's club. Reminder that you can check out baseball wherever you go. Check out Fox Sports Go, download the app, and watch Cardinals baseball. Folks still tailgating outside. Here's Yadier Molina, followed by Jed Jerko and Jairo Munoz. Monday, a record set on this road trip by Yadier Molina. Most games caught with one team, 1,761. It's an accomplishment that really has kind of flown under the radar, but a remarkable one to be able to do that all with one team. Two balls and no strikes. Cardinals talk about how much, and you mentioned this earlier, he puts into his workouts in the offseason, to where the regular season is actually easier than what he's doing in the offseason. You could imagine that, but that's what we're told.
No, I think that's why he moved down to Jupiter in that area. We can work out in the offseason. He uses the facility down there. See if you ever pay attention to his social media. He's out there on the fields in the middle of December and January running with his trainers. Does a good job.
3-1 driven out to right center. This ball is gone. It's a home run. Yadier Molina, number 10 here in 2018, and the Cardinals get on the board, and it cuts a lead to 2-1. It's now 5 Cardinals with 10 or more home runs. Molina hit his first major league home run against the Brewers all the way back in 2004 off of Matt Wise, and he's still going strong here in 2018.
Ooh, good swing. I'm talking about being up 3-1. You got to be on time for the fastball. Gets a fastball out over the plate, and he doesn't try to do anything but just drive it back to where it came from. Try and pull that ball, you roll over. Hit a ground ball short.
He's got 3 home runs on the trip, and 2 have gone to the opposite field. The first 2 swings at the at-bat by Jerko, he's trying to tie it.
Why not?
Jerko hitting close to 400 this season against Milwaukee. A .272 hitter last year. Career average at .246, so basically right in the middle. And the 2-2. Strikeout on a called 3rd strike. Kubota power stats, Cardinals last 8 games. We're talking about when they hit a home run and home runs allowed. The Kubota power stats. Some boos for Jairo Munoz as he's introduced here in game 3. He was tangled up with Eric Sogard to where both benches cleared, no punches thrown. Altercation at second base last night. Sogard said that his first words were,
"Are you okay?
Are you okay?"
You can read his lips.
He said maybe he didn't understand me, but got caught up in the moment, and I did as well. And he said, "I just want to leave it at that. We move on." Munoz has done an admirable job filling in for DeYoung, and he picks up a base hit into left field.
He's doing more and more each day he goes out there. You can see the last couple games he's been hitting the ball the other way and driving the ball to right field, so they try to pitch him in, and he pulls his hands inside right there and base hit to left center. crazy when you watched him in the first couple weeks of the season. He looked like he was completely overmatched. Kind of came out of nowhere. Everyone was wondering where he came from, who he was. Get a chance to play every day for a couple of weeks, and now you know why he got a chance to play in the big leagues. Just takes a little bit of time.
Harrison Bader. Matter of fact, since May 22nd, he is second among all major league shortstops. He's now up to a .326 average since that time. Here's a 1-0. Dexter Fowler won for his last 27 over the last 13 games he's played in. So Bader is getting more and more playing time as we move forward. This being his 31st start of the year, hitting close to 300 when he starts. And the 1-1. And he will give you exceptional defense wherever he plays in the outfield.
And the effort's there, the running, the speed. You know, we talk about it all the time. It's just about having that kind of energy on the field is definitely a positive move. Whether Dexter's the one has to sit or anything, I'm talking about just Bader playing in general. Get him in the lineup, good things can happen with that speed and defense. He's going to learn how to hit. He's just going to get better and better the more he plays.
Michael is at the on deck circle. 2 balls, 1 strike on Harrison Bader. And he pulls it foul. You know, Michaelis has 1 win in the month of June, despite the fact that he has pitched well. And it's about run support. He's only getting about 2 runs a game. That's it. So he keeps the Cardinals in games in his starts. He's just not getting the support. Very easily could be a 9 or 10 game winner already.
He definitely kept himself in the team in the game. A lot of games, like you said, it's just sometimes it's the 1 or 2 mistakes here and there, and sometimes there's no run support.
He's given up a total of 29 earned runs on the year. 10 of the 29, by the way, have been against Milwaukee, this being his 3rd start against the Brewers. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Bader. Munoz with a couple of stolen bases, back in safely. Running on the 2-2, and it is a cold 3rd strike on Bader. Well, sometimes maybe you have to help yourself, and that's what Miles Michaelis did earlier this season. Bam! That long home run off of Zach Davies. First major league hit. Did it in style. Three strikeouts now for Anderson. There's strike 1. Chase Anderson, part of the Gene Segura deal. And last year he had a better strikeout percentage, walk rate, home runs per 9. This year he's averaging nearly 2 home runs allowed per 9. We've already seen 1 in this game. That's 8th most that home runs per 9 in all of Major League Baseball.
It's going to happen when you have a little bit of a straighter fastball. Pretty conventional so far, fastball with the big breaking ball.
Try and rebound after he allowed a season high 6 runs on 5 hits, lost to the Phillies last weekend. And the 1-2 pitch. Michaelis puts it in play to 3rd. Shaw up with it. for the third out. Cardinals, though, get on the board with a solo home run. Number 10 off the bat of Yadier Molina. That's a lead at 2-1. In the bottom of the second, let's check in with Jim.
Dan, Jack Flaherty threw 7 innings of one-hit ball last night. A great start for anyone. After the game, however, Jack was clearly ticked off and brushed aside questions that put his start in a positive light. Jack was our guest on the pregame show today, and he explained to me, at the end of the day, we lost the game, and that was what I was focused on. Flaherty lost his no-hit bid with 1 out in the 7th. Jesus Aguilar took a low slider, basically one-handed it over the wall. Flaherty told me he found a way to get a barrel on it. It kind of spun out of my hand. It wasn't my sharpest slider, but he's a strong dude. Dan, not a bad pitch from Flaherty. Aguilar has obviously been on fire.
Yeah, and you appreciate the fact that he's talking about the team and not individually what transpired last night, but he was terrific. 1 run in 7 innings, 13 strikeouts. Retired 19 of the first 22 that he saw. Manny Pena into right and a base hit. Brings in Chase Anderson.
Good job right there, not trying to do too much. Ball's off the plate and away, and sometimes that's what hitting's all about, right? Talk about guys hitting the ball in the ballpark, pitchers pitching you in, they're trying to get you off of that pitch. And as a hitter, you got to stay relaxed, and when the ball gets out over the plate, stay back, and you just kind of use your hands and throw it at the ball. Now that's the extreme, but that's what hitting's all about.
Anderson, an .096 career hitter, was square to bunt. And there's strike 1 this year, 2 for 18 with 12 strikeouts. Cardinals are now 22-2 when holding opponents to 2 runs or less. I'm not sure the pitching staff could have done much more than what they did last night. Just a couple of mistakes, and that was it. Carpenter racing down the third base line. Michaelis will go to second and gets the out. Second time that Miles Michaelis has gone with the force play at second. See Michaelis hop on it.
Good job. He made up his mind right away, and no hesitation.
It's an interesting matchup here when you think about these two guys that have had to go overseas and reinvent themselves, and Thames and also Michaelis. Thames is a 39th round pick out of Pepperdine. Made it to the big leagues with Toronto. Miles Michaelis, 7th round pick in 2009. He pitched in Japan. Thames went to Korean baseball, reinvented himself there for 3 years and became an absolute star there. At one point, he was the MVP. He had a 40-40 season, 40 home runs, 40 steals, and hit .391 that year. It's incredible. Hits it to second, and a double play for 6-3 off the bat of Thames. The team record and what has happened. 13 was a World Series appearance. 14 and 15. 15 was a 100-win campaign. And 16, 17, and who knows about 18. Different teams take on different looks and personalities every single year.
It is amazing when you see just a stretch of different stretches during the course of the year, where you're at, where you end up. By no means does that mean that's the path that they're going to take, but you're right, every team has a different personality, and you start to, like I said, you start to feel it a little bit here at the end of June, kind of the All-Star break. That's why sometimes in the All-Star break you start talking about moves. Do they need another piece? Do they not need another piece? It's always interesting at that time of the year to find out what your team's made of and what they will do or what they won't do.
Here's Carpenter, 0 for 1. He's hit safely in 13 of the last 16. 6 home runs, 5 doubles in the last 16. And a strike. Talked to Willie McGee today at the team hotel and said he's enjoying coaching. Certainly is a much different game than the one that he remembered as a player. But still enjoying it, and it's a famous day in Cardinals and Cubs history. Willie hit for the cycle on a nationally televised game. It was the game of the week against the Chicago Cubs. But then it was Ryan Sandberg had 2 game-tying homers 5 hits. And that was off of Bruce Sutter in the 9th and the 10th. That's overran by Perez. And I talked to Bob Costas about that game the other day. He was on the call. He said they had to name Willie McGee the player of the game. And yet it's Ryan Sandberg's most famous game, and one that he believes helped propel him to being a Hall of Famer because it was on national TV. Not many games on TV at that time. And Bob was saying, but we had to get it to Ferdy Pacheco and Marv Albert in Panama waiting for a fight and trying to get off the air. And they're naming Willie McGee the MVP of that particular day and the player of the game. You know, we always say he's humble, and Jimmy, I know you'll say it too. It is so true, every bit of it, when we say that that man is a humble man.
He's quiet. I think it's good for him that he's coaching now. I think it's almost forced him to kind of come out of his shell a little bit. He's opened up with the players. I've seen him progress over the years, getting more involved and really just, like I said, he's more open to talking. I remember when I played, he'd come to spring training. If you didn't talk to him, he just kind of sat and observed. I mean, he was just down there to lend a hand, and thought maybe he always felt like he was, you know, getting in the way. It's a fine line trying to get down there and not get in the way of the coaches that are on staff, trying to help at the same time.
Tommy Pham said Willie McGee was instrumental for him in the minor leagues when he was roving. Made it out. He was throwing his helmet, throwing his bat, getting mad, and that pitch is popped up. And Willie made a amazing point. He said to Tommy Pham, what do you think Jackie Robinson would say about this? Well, think about that. And he said it has stuck with him ever since. And Tommy says, you will not find me throwing my stuff. He said, I'll get mad. And yesterday he did. He said, but for the most part, I really do try to keep it internally and figure out why I made the out instead of sitting there and dwelling on it. Why did I do this?
It is so hard to stay under control when you're playing this game and you're struggling. It is the hardest thing I've ever had to try and do.
3-2.
Frustration levels are beyond what a normal everyday life situation can bring you as far as just internal frustration. It's a game, right? And it's just a very hard game to master.
3-2 pitch. Tommy Pham. Inside corner. That's the 3rd time that he has been rung up on that pitch. Once last night, then ejected, and twice here today.
The borderline pitch here. Pitcher's pitch, but I guess if you go by the Fox tracks, I guess it has to be a strike, but that's just a tough pitch to take.
Here's Martinez, came into the ball game today, 9th in the National League in batting average at .304. Would you be at all in favor of the electronic strike zone?
I mean, it wouldn't bother me. I think it'd be tough to put umpires out of work, but at least there would be no complaints.
Well, the umpire still would be behind the plate. There's a way to do it to where they're wearing an earpiece.
It sounds like you thought about this already.
I've seen it. And there was no arguments. Players knew, hey, that's the strike zone. The adjustments are made with the cameras and the technology for everybody's height, where they're at in the strike zone.
I still don't think it's an exact science. Even just having that box and the cameras. I know that they say it is, but I have a hard time believing that that thing is dead on all the time in every ballpark, because every ballpark's not the same.
What you're seeing at home right now with the strike zone box is exactly what the umpires are graded on, and they get graded with every game.
Some of those grades are as bad as when I was in school.
Mine are worse. That's why I'm doing this.
Definitely should be some repercussions every now and then to some of the games that they can have behind the plate. Although most of them are good.
2-2 the count. 4 batters had struck out through 3 innings yesterday by the Cardinals, 5 already today. The pitch taken low, and he's trying to strike out the side here in the 3rd. This year at home, 8 starts for Chase Anderson, and the ERA is near 6. Bit surprising, someone pitching at home, usually much better.
I really don't. I mean, talk about it. It's really not a pitcher's park. You know, the ball carries. And I think that the thing for me, like when the ball carries, it just makes the hitters more comfortable. It doesn't matter. It doesn't mean that the pitcher is going to be overwhelmed and give up 100 home runs, but time that you take batting practice and you feel like you can hit a ball out without making too much effort, it kind of quiets you down, just gives you a better approach at the plate, thus making you a better hitter.
And a walk for Martinez, the second issued by Anderson. Whole new ball game with RBI Baseball 18. RBI Baseball 18 delivers an all-new franchise mode and much more. RBI Baseball 18 available now. Learn more at RBIGame.com. Rated E for everyone. 2 walks, and both have been to Jose Martinez. Ozuna fly to deep right center, first time up. June 11th through the 17th, he was the National League Player of the Week. 3rd time that he had taken in that award. Did it twice with Miami a season ago, and now Manny Pena wants to slow down Anderson. It's been up and down for Anderson against the Cardinals. Brewers were 1-5 in Anderson's first 6 starts against St. Louis, and the last 4 they have won. One ball, 1 strike. We wrap up the road trip tomorrow. Luke Weaver and Jolice Chassin. Cardinals come home on Monday, and the Cleveland Indians will be in town, and St. Louis in Game 2 will face Corey Kluber, who's 11-3 with an ERA barely over 2. Two-one pitch to Marcell Ozuna. 3-1.
Danny, take a look at this right here, what we saw, that shot. So what I'm looking at here as a hitter is the backdrop right there. See how bright the center fielder is? That's what the baseball looks like. Even though you can see the baseball itself, you don't see the seams as well. And so now when you have that backdrop, it just doesn't give you the depth perception that you need to be able to see the off-speed pitches. And so I used to tell guys when they were throwing, hey, it's impossible to see a changeup or like something small. The big breaking ball you'll see, the fastball you'll see, but you're not getting rotation on the ball. So I think the tight slider, the cutter, and the changeup, good pitches when the shadows are becoming a pain. And sometimes guys can use it and it works perfectly, and other times, it depends on the stuff that you have as a pitcher. That starts to become not fun as a hitter.
So knowing that, did you try to pick up anything like arm angle, cupping the ball, whatever?
I tried to hit the first pitch I saw coming straight.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, if you think about it, the farther you get into the count, the more he's got his weapons, right? They start making stuff up. Even the curveball becomes a slow curveball or a tighter curveball. It's just, I want to hit the first fastball that I can see. And when you foul it off, you just think to yourself, man, that was my chance. But it starts to become a mind game. And the higher that shadow creeps up that wall, the tougher it gets. Or the higher the sun creeps up. But I mean, like, that's a perfect view right there. Look at the center fielder. There's just no depth. because of the difference in the light. Looks great right here on TV. When you're looking the other way, it's tough.
Molina with an opposite field home run back in the second. Remember, he missed over a month, and he's got 10 home runs. That's tied for second among all National League catchers. Anderson has walked 3. His season high is 4. A chance to tie it up or take the lead here for St. Louis. The 0-1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Yachty is on pace for a 20 home run season. Miles Michaelis enjoyed a 6-pitch bottom of the second, and now this is pitch number 26 here in the top of the third for Chase Anderson. Good cut by Molina. 1-2. Breaking ball, 2-2. The strikeout of Yadier Molina. Number 6 today. The 3 outs, all via the strikeout. Yelich coming up. Slate of matches, and it all starts as Harry Kane and England take on Panama at 6. That's in the morning on FS1. The FIFA World Cup tomorrow on FS1 and Fox. Stream it all live on the Fox Sports app. Yelich, Kane, and Shaw. Michaelis has shaved the mustache. He said it was time for a change after the last start.
It definitely looks different. I was sitting next to him at breakfast this morning. I kept looking over at him, thinking, he just looks a little different. It's like he lost about 10 years on his life.
And there's another strike. That's 11 of 11 first pitch strikes. Key piece going back from Milwaukee to Miami in the deal with Yelich, Lewis Brinson, and he's only hitting 181 for the Marlins. Yelich comes in around 300. He grounds out to third for the first out. The batter is Lorenzo Cain. Broke into the Brewers organization, 17th round pick in 2004. Made the big league club in 2010. 2 months after the season ended, Brewers sent him to Kansas City. It's a 6-player trade for Zach Greinke. Brewers in 11 would meet the Cardinals in the NLCS. St. Louis won that in 6 games and advanced to the World Series. Does have 1 hit against Michaelis, and that's a home run. That's out of play. 5-year deal signed in the offseason to come back to Milwaukee. Out of Valdosta, Georgia. MVP, postseason play, all-star. You know, Kansas City in many ways had to be perfect because they're not going to go out and spend a lot of money. And players all came together, young players matured at the same time, and became an outstanding team that won the World Series and back-to-back appearances in the Fall Classic. As Cain reaches for it, out to right center. Oh, and bam with the catch. And Bader diving behind him.
That could have been scared me from up here. Do you remember that play in San Diego with was it Mike Cameron? It was almost this exact same play. They were going out, going in the same angle coming in, and they both dove and went head to head. It was just a tough play right there in between, perfectly in between those guys, especially when you got 2 guys that can run.
Travis Shaw. Think of Stephen Piscotty in Pittsburgh. That was scary too. Tangled up with Peter Borges. 0-2 the count on Shaw. And the 0-2. One ball and 2 strikes on Shaw. He walked back in the first. Little chopper that's hit to Martinez. Michaelis to the bag, and he makes the play. 1-2-3 inning for Miles Michaelis. And we're through 3. It's 2-1. Club, a premium all-inclusive experience, remains the only way to guarantee a seat for the weekend rounds. PGAchampionship.com. Monumental milestone in St. Louis. Defending champ Justin Thomas leads the field at Belle Reve. Again, PGAchampionship.com. Jed Jerko, always versatile. Third base, second. Pinch hitter. He's played a little short. First. He's even pitched this year. And the first pitch is strike. Anderson has struck out 6. That includes Jerko back in the second inning. Right into the shift. Chase Anderson will wear his late father's socks, cowboy boots, belt buckle, used to wear his jeans, and his pink polo shirt to the ballpark prior to every home start. Father Robert passed away in 2012, died at the age of 55 of a heart attack 2 years prior to Chase making the big leagues. Does that to honor his dad prior to every home start. His parents divorced at the age of 12, and he lived with his dad. He wanted to be with his father. Said his dad held 3 jobs, which included working at a fiberglass plant for 35 years. And that's the way that he honors his late father. Two balls and no strikes on Jairo Munoz. Single to left and stole a base, number 3 this year. Speaking of dads, Kevin Walsh is here from St. Louis with his son Luke. They're at Miller Park with the St. Louis Dynamite baseball team for a tournament here in town. Kevin, a longtime basketball coach, Vianney High School in St. Louis. 3 balls and a strike on Munoz. Three and 2.
That same swing, 3-1 right there. I was talking about, you do the fastball. Would love to see him a little bit more on time on that fastball. Hate to see guys just a little bit behind when you get a pitch in a situation where you almost know fastball's coming right there. It's got to be tough to see a little bit because of the shadows, but man, I just remembered Rod Carew is just pounding that into you. Be on time for that one pitch.
What should you learn about bunting from Rod Carew?
Learned a lot about everything, about hitting, just and more mentally. It was weird. It wasn't even just like, it was just the right things to do, or the right approach to do, why you do certain things. The thing I loved about him was there was never a time that he didn't approach you, even if you didn't want to hear it. But it started to make sense. It reminds me of dealing with LaRussa on a daily basis, with always on top of stuff. With nothing settled, nothing. He didn't wait for anything. He announced, he addressed everything on the spot.
3-2, pulled to Shaw, stays with it, and out.
And I think that some of the things that, when you're up here watching the game and you can really explain something, but you can't get into the player's mind unless you're literally asking him questions on a play-by-play basis. And that's how you get feedback. Because it's easy to say he should have made that play. It's easy to say that he should have done this. But what were you thinking at that time? And then you go from there. Why did you try to make that play barehanded? And I want to get the feedback so I can explain to someone why you should do it this way. And if he thinks this thought process and that's the right thought process, then you go with it, right? If that's what, just like asking your kids anything. If they're thinking about the right thing, sometimes the action just doesn't work. But if the thought process is wrong, then you have to explain to them why this is a better way of trying it. And it's just as far as even like just pitchers with their grips, and we talk about like tipping pitches and doing all these different things, and you have to understand why and what they're doing to get to that point in order to instruct them how to fix it.
I remember when Rod Carew was the hitting coach here in Milwaukee, and we talked about it back then, and now it would be completely accepted. But their team struck out an incredible amount. Jose Hernandez, Richie Sexton.
Hated it here.
Yeah.
He was so frustrated because he couldn't get through to him. He said, Jimmy, I'm done. The game has changed. They don't want to listen. I can't do this anymore. I remember talking to him. He was miserable. And it wasn't because he had bad players. It was just the game has passed away from, or passed by the way he was trying to teach it. You know, the money started getting too big. Guys are trying to do things on their own. But I'll tell you what, the thought process and the mental preparation is where he taught so much to me. I talked to Chili Davis the other day in Chicago, and that's what he's trying to do with the Chicago Cubs guys. It's not about mechanics anymore. It's not about this. It's how to prepare yourself to have your best at bat and why you do certain things. The results are going to be what they are at times, but if you prepare yourself a little bit better, or you think a little bit better of what's going to happen, what happens in the box becomes a little bit easier.
Jeff Jenkins was a part of that too. I mean, there was just a ton of strikeouts in those lineups.
Scary lineups, though.
Yeah, a lot of power. 3-2 pitch, and Bader strikes out. That's 7 for Chase Anderson. First base in Philly. With more on that, let's check in with Jim.
Yeah, Jose told me that left shoulder is still sore after that collision at first base on Wednesday in Philadelphia. He is getting treatment. In fact, his shoulder was wrapped as he sat in the clubhouse before the game today. Jose told me this: sometimes you have to play when you're hurting, but this is something that isn't affecting me too much. I just have to get it going. Dan Martinez is 0 for 7 in this series, 2 for 19 since coming back from leave. The Cards desperately need his bat.
It's a guy that they're looking at in the middle of the lineup. Ozuna being another one, Jimmy, and but just putting the ball in play. Here's Jesus Aguilar. He was waived by Cleveland. Over the course of 3 seasons, he played 35 games, did not hit a home run. Picked up by Milwaukee. And I think now you've got to start talking about him being an all-star. A Among first basemen, first in homers, second in RBI, first in slugging percentage. He's had that kind of year.
He's hitting 305, 16 home runs and 50 RBIs, and we still got a ways to go before the break.
Here's a 1-2 pitch. There's that short swing and just makes contact to stay alive. Miles Michaelis, who struck out 1 today. There's 2 solo home runs for Aguilar. Eric Sogard had a hit in the 8th inning. And that was all that they had last night. That's all that they would need. And now the Brewers are 1 game above 500 inside the Central Division. He had a sac fly, RBI back in the first. Milwaukee got 2 runs. Molina with a solo home run for the Cardinals, and that's the scoring today, 2-1. And this time he waves at it as Michaelis really took something off it.
This is the thing that's been making him so successful with throwing strikes, but it's the ability to throw different pitches, different velocities. Just when you think you got it figured out as a hitter, you got all the timing going with the fastball and the breaking ball, and he throws that breaking ball that's 10 miles an hour slower.
Here's Brad Miller. 2-out RBI single back in the first inning. Stan Musial, speaking of strikeouts, struck out a total of 46 times in 1962, the most he ever had in a single season. By the way, he was 42 years old. I'd love to get in a room with some of the older players and just get their true thoughts on how the game is played today.
I don't know if you'd want to hear it.
Good point.
We've got plenty of opportunities, but the Hall of Famers that we have coming through the doors, they'll let you know.
Back-to-back strikeouts and 3 today for Miles Michaelis. I'm not sure that they would recognize the game that we're watching every single night. And I mean not only strikeouts, but the 2-strike approach, putting a ball in play, hitting a ball to the right side with a runner at second base.
How about the fact that it's simply breaking up a double play?
Good point. What do you think Hal McRae would say about that? He was one of the more vicious players at breaking up a double play. Former hitting coach in St. Louis, manager in Kansas City.
Some of that generation before myself and a little bit before that, just some mean old dudes, man. When they were coaching, they were still mean.
Martinez will take it, steps on the bag, and a 1-2-3 inning for Michaelis. We head to the 5th in a 2-1 game. Budweiser, what's on tap? Luke Weaver, Jolice Chassin. Weaver 3 and 6. Chassin, a right-hander, 6 and 2. Budweiser, what's on tap? And again, we'll come your way at 12:30. Inning number 5 rolls in. Strike to Michaelis. Cardinals have received 3 walks. They've struck out 7 times. They have 2 hits, both happening in the 2nd inning. Molina, a solo home run. Munoz, a base hit to left. Ryan Braun has entered the game. He's in left field. Christian Yelich is in center. Eric Thames in right field, and Kane out of the game. Kane was hit by a pitch earlier. And Michaelis swings and misses. Strikeout number 8. 30,000 fans, 16 and older, take home a Carlos Martinez mystery air bobblehead courtesy of AT&T next Saturday. There's a life-sized version of this bobblehead in Ford Plaza. Tickets at cardinals.com/promotions.
There's a life-size version of this bobblehead right down there in the dugout too. Standing right there.
And a ball to Carpenter.
There he is. Hitter's got to be pretty excited right now. A little cloudy. This is when you walk to the plate and you hope that the clouds just stay there for a few more hours. At least for your at bat. And the rest of the game would be a huge positive.
Carpenter is 0 for 2. And he draws a walk, so that matches the season-high in walks for Anderson, and that's number 4. Cardinals have their first base runner since back in the 3rd, and that's when they had 2 walks in that inning. In steps Tommy Pham. Saw Eric Thames slam his bat and helmet last night. Scream, was not ejected, but Pham was. And twice he's been called out on inside pitches. That was the case last night. With more on that, let's check in with Jim.
Yeah, Tommy told me last night he was surprised how suddenly he was ejected. He went inside and looked at the video and on that called 3rd strike and saw it was a ball, and he said he did come back to the dugout and did some chirping, but all of a sudden he was gone. And he said the thing that upset him is he was ejected and Thames did what Tommy called 1,000 times worse, and he was not ejected. So Tommy was pretty upset last night.
Thames now in right field. 0-2 pitch. 1-2. The reality of it is, though, you got to put the ball in play. You know, Pham struck out. You got a runner at 3rd, nobody out. They don't score the run, they lose 2-1. Here's a 1-2 pitch. Two and 2. For 3 today, and that's 9 for Anderson. Cardinals playing in the 7th game of their road trip, and that's 68 strikeouts. Now, you can argue all you want about a strike zone. That's 68 strikeouts. Here's Martinez, who has walked a couple of times. And he makes it foul, and watch out. Oh boy.
That ball got somebody. Well, how it doesn't.
And that's well hit. Out to right. Thames back near the wall, and he's got it. University Physicians, Guardians of Childhood. And by Toyota, let's go places. Beautiful day here in Wisconsin. Roof open at Miller Park. Jim Edmonds, Dan McLaughlin, and Jim Hayes with you. The batter is Manny Pena, who's singled to right back in the second inning. Originally signed as a shortstop in 2004 by Texas. Manny Batista, the man that signed him. And Batista was a scout then, and he's now a part of Milwaukee's international scouting department. Helped bring Pena to Milwaukee. He spent 12 full seasons in the minor leagues learning how to catch.
That has got to be a long, long time.
Jonathan Villar has moved to the on-deck circle. He pinch hit for Anderson. Jeremy Jeffress throwing in the Milwaukee pen. The bullpen often overlooked. Talk about the game last night of the Milwaukee Brewers because of Aguilar, the 2 home runs, but their bullpen was sensational. Jeffress, Hader came in, struck out the side.
We got some guys down there that can really throw.
Knable had a scoreless inning. Jacob Barnes as well. Guerra went 5 innings and then 4 scoreless innings put up by their bullpen. That's it out of play. 3-2 the count on Manny Pena. Pitch count only at 64 for Michaels, so should get some mileage out of the right-hander today. You know, Jimmy, you were obviously a great hitter. You see 9 strikeouts. We're talking about nearly 70 on the trip. You know, at what point is it a change in philosophy by the coaching staff to the players doing it for themselves? I mean, what happens?
I really don't know if the philosophy is anything to go by. I don't think that Mapes is down there telling them to swing for the fences. I just think it's the group that they have, the way the game has kind of changed, and it's amazing. I think no one's really choking up, but you know, I didn't really do it too much either, unless I had to really battle against somebody that was tough and the game was on the line. I think the only thing that really, when you look back at the situations with the strikeouts, the only thing that when it's really magnifies the bad part about it is just really when the runs are on third, the guys are on third base with less than 2 outs. That's when you really got to do something different and get that run in, and it's got to be just as simple as putting the ball in play. If you start to do that, obviously that takes away a couple of strikeouts here and there, but the runs start to pile up and the strikeouts just disappear.
The switch hitting Jonathan Villar. Talked about Broxton being in the minor leagues. And Domingo Santana option to AAA. 30 home runs a year ago. Villar, very versatile player, can play the outfield and the infield. And in addition to that, being a switch hitter. That's chopped foul. Anderson 5 innings, couple of hits, 1 run. He walked 4. Struck out 9, 100 pitches this afternoon. There's Suter there on the left, who is the Game 1 starter and winner for the Brewers. And the 1-2 hit out of play. Stays alive. Cardinals, by the way, up to 654 strikeouts this year. Just to give you a little idea how the game has changed, Stan the Man had a total of 696 total in 22 seasons.
Well, I mean, a little bit of defense here, but the game has definitely changed. And I think the art of pitching has definitely changed, especially with all of the resources that they have to find your hole in your swing. Talking about trying to be a hitter now, you're trying to cover fastball. Straight fastball 4-seamer. You're trying to cover a 2-seamer down. You've got guys throwing the ball up. You've got cutters. You have sliders. You have changeups. You have split-fingered fastballs. You have the over-the-top curveball. A lot of these guys throw 5 or 6 of those pitches.
1, 2, 3 go the Milwaukee Brewers, and now Miles Michaelis is settled in after that rough start. We're through 5. Coming up, Marcelo Zuna, Yadier Molina, and Jed Jerko. Telecast presented by the authority of the Cardinals. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. Jeremy Jeffress is into the ball game here in the top of the 6th. Chase Anderson, 5 innings, 4 walks, 1 run. The solo home run allowed to Yadier Molina. Jeffress pitched a perfect 8th inning last night as he struck out 2. Now on his 3rd tour with the Milwaukee Brewers. Spent some time with Texas. He's got a little mad Hungarian in him. He's unscored upon at 33 of the 36 games that he's pitched in. Shift on here for Ozuna. And ball 1. Marcel is fly to center and also walked. There's a base hit into center. May have broken his bat. And Ozuna picks up the first Cardinal hit since back in the 2nd. Second inning, Yadier Molina with this home run, his 3rd on the trip. 2 of the 3 have gone to the opposite field. And he is your BJC healthcare difference maker. The power has been on an uptick here in 2018. Since June 15th, after he really got his timing back, took him a little while to get that. 5 walks and a .381 average. So seeing the ball and obviously having success. Now this is something that I think about with Yadier Molina. Jeffress is around the plate, doesn't walk many. Yadi doesn't strike out much. You know, you talk about trying to get something going. This is a perfect hit and run candidate right here.
Yeah, you got Ozuna can run a little bit. And the whole right side of the infield is open. It's not a bad call right there.
And Molina sends one into right at the wall, and it's off the top of the wall and a homer. And Yadi can't believe it. Arms up in the air. And the Cardinals have a lead. It looked to hit squarely off the top of the wall, and Molina again with a multi-home run game on this trip. I don't think Yadi can believe it.
Jeffress can't believe it either. That ball pretty good. I actually thought it was going to go a little bit further than it went. Another good swing by Yadi. Just the ball out over the plate, man. He's just trying to hit the ball back up the middle.
And Jerko sends it into center. Yelich is there for the catch. And the first out here on the top of the 6th. This is only the 2nd lead of the series for the Cardinals. They had the Carpenter leadoff homer. Brewers scored 2 in the bottom of the 1st. Now Molina with that home run, his 2nd of the day. Third home run allowed by Jeremy Jeffress. And the 0-1 pitch now to Jairo Munoz. And a swing and a miss.
Pretty nasty sinker right there.
And he tied him up in a strikeout of Jairo Munoz. Transplant Awareness Day presented by Washington University and Barnes Jewish Transplant Center. Sunday, July 1st, purchase of a theme ticket. Fans receive a Cardinals cap supporting organ donation. Tickets at cardinals.com/transplant. Strike to Bader. He's 0 for 2 with a pair of strikeouts. And a ground ball that's hit to short. Perez makes the play. Yadier Molina, 2 home runs this afternoon. Second time, or rather the 6th time he's done that. Second time on this trip. Off the wall to right. Jeffers couldn't believe it. Cardinals have the lead. T-Mobile, hats off for heroes Branch Rickey, who invented the modern-day farm system. Obviously intimately involved in breaking the color barrier. Jackie Robinson, and a Hall of Famer back in 1967. Our T-Mobile hats off for heroes. Yadier Molina with a pair of home runs, and now it's Christian Yelich against Miles Michaelis, who's been pitching ahead in the count all day. And there it is again, another first pitch strike. And the 0-1 pitch to be a key inning for him, with Yelich, Braun, and Shaw coming up. Fielder's choice. That was in the first inning. Also grounded out to third. And the 2-1 yanked foul. How about that, Jimmy, right there? It's
about to turn 2.
He sure was. Little alligator headed out in front. Huh.
Did you say the alligator?
Yeah, the alligator.
Do not teach that at home. Wow.
Michael has thought he had strike 3, and so did I.
So did everyone. Pretty good pitch right here.
And the 3-2 pitch. There's the strikeout. Number 5 today. Kane left the ball game, by the way, with shoulder tightness, left shoulder tightness. Bucket hat coming up for the kids and the adults Sunday, July 1st. Cardinals.com/promotions. Here's Ryan Braun. He has now played an entire season worth of games against the Cardinals. 162 total games against St. Louis. Only active player right now in baseball to have done that. Hits it out of play. He's had a tremendous career on the field. Walker, Aaron, Brett, Mays, and Braun, when you look at the average, home runs, and steals.
How is Larry Walker not in the Hall of Fame?
And even if you want to take a look at it as a sabermetric look at Larry Walker's career, and wins above replacement, it's an astonishing number, and then just the basic
stats
baseball
right
numbers.
Sure, if he was playing in Little League when he was 35 years old, it's still, the numbers speak for themselves. He had to be one of the best all-around players of his entire career.
Smart,
his
great
generation
defensive player. I mean, take into account everything: base running, the defense, obviously the offensive numbers, the Gold Gloves,
all 5 tools. Probably when you talk about the 5 tools, he was like a 5-tool plus guy, because he had all those tools, but he did it a little bit more than everyone else with those tools. He's a plus hitter, plus power, plus defender.
2-2, high in the air, out to left. Ozuna in the corner near the wall with the catch. Good to see this time he didn't scale it. There's 2 away.
Tell you what, you look up there, some of these days when the top's open and the windows are open, you can actually see the flags are blowing in. I thought that ball was going to get out, but a little breeze up there today and might have knocked that down just enough.
You know, we talked about Aguilar with Cleveland, the 35 games that he had. He's on deck. Now it's Shaw. They've got something now in this lineup. You think about Braun and Shaw and Aguilar,
Yelich in front of those guys.
The athleticism coming off the bench. It's a good team. Bullpen looks to be very solid. Here's a 1-1. And Shaw pops it up. Jerko backing up to make the catch. Get the StubHub app where you can grab 100% MLB verified tickets until the first pitch or sell your extras to another fan. Get the StubHub app today. StubHub, official partner of the Cardinals. So our Chevy called to the pen, and the second reliever used, Taylor Williams, who pitched in game 1 of this series. At a scoreless 8th, did give up a couple of hits and a walk, struck out 1, but no damage done. .88 pitches thus far from Michaelis, and after a shaky first inning, boy, he is settled in. Gave up a leadoff base hit back in the second inning. And since then, he's been on a roll. With the mustache, and now without. Cardinals brought in Michaelis, a combination of the analytics department as well as the eye test with the scouts, and both said they came together and said this would be a good signing for St. Louis. It's 11 strikeouts for the Cardinals tonight, or rather this afternoon. Kia drive to success, the best bullpen ERA in baseball, and Milwaukee came in at 2.75. Arizona #1, then Houston, Milwaukee, the Yankees, and Cubs.
I like you referred to it as the eye test.
Scouts. Ball down and in to Matt Carpenter.
I was talking to Maddox today. I think it's funny because you don't hear it very often, but he said it too. The players will let you know. The hitters will let you know if you're not doing something right on the mound. And that's basically the eye test. Good old school pitching coach right there. Been around for a long time.
Shift on the right side and a 2-0 pitch to Carpenter. Gateway Honda home run inning. Cardinals hit a home run. The Gateway Honda dealers donate $1,000 to the Make-A-Wish Foundation of Missouri. Pulled foul. The 2-2. That swung on and missed. Back-to-back strikeouts for Taylor Williams.
Sharp slider. It's that pitch right there. It's just tough to pick up. Ball's going down. You know, as a lefty, when the ball's in the inner half, you're going to get challenged. You got to speed up. If you don't recognize that spin, there's no chance.
Been a tough day for Tommy Pham, 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts. Shift on the left side of the infield for Pham. 2 balls and no strikes. And a 13-game hitting streak in this month. Second longest in the National League. this year. Freddie Freeman with the longest. He had a 16-gamer. Williams was at Double-A a year ago. Biloxi out of Vancouver, Washington. Came up for 5 games a season ago with Milwaukee. 3 balls and 1 strike.
With a pretty live arm, good slider. Let's see why he didn't hang around the minor leagues too long.
4th round pick by the Brewers in 2013. 3-1 pitch. Fouled back, 3-2. Pham has faced Williams. He's 0 for 3 with a walk. Out of play.
Thomas is a tad bit off today, a little bit late. Swing looks good. I was talking to a couple of the players the other day about trying to fix yourself on video, and it's weird because when you watch the swing going through the zone and that's where you think the problem is, you look fine. So, but it's something that's going on right before that swing what throws you off.
Michael is back to work. Time to stretch, and it's 3-2. Michaelis a chance to pick up a win, and he's been tremendous again today. So many first pitch strikes. Shaky start at the beginning. Hit a man, walked a man, gave up 2 runs in the first, but Jimmy after that settled in.
He has. He settled in good. Did this a couple, was it last start or the start before, where he just, it's not like he struggled, but just didn't have the feel for some of his pitches until like the 2nd or 3rd inning, and then he just started cruising. That's what you're seeing here today.
Yeah, last start against the Phillies, 1st inning. Not typical of what we've seen from Miles this year, and then settled in and outstanding. Aguilar, his last 10 games, 16 driven in with 6 home runs. Muscles it. A soft liner hit into the shift, and Jed Jerko for the first out. So 27 pitches in the first. The quick 2nd inning was 6. and very efficient all the way through. 90 total. There's Brad Miller, acquired from Tampa Bay earlier this month. He had 30 home runs back in 2016. So with Arcia's struggles at short, they're looking for middle infield depth, and they went out and got Miller. Here's the 0-1. Now 0-2.
Another guy with no batting gloves. Can you imagine? I just can't imagine. Those days when you're just not feeling it, not getting a good grip on the bat.
Playing in this town, it can get cold even with the roof closed here.
It does get cold here. I wore sleeves a lot in this ballpark. It doesn't get into the 80s until July usually. Just get a hot spell here and there, but people are in hibernation for most of the first part of the season.
Yep. 2-2 pitch.
I remember too, though, even with batting gloves and pine tar and stickum and all that, sometimes you just couldn't get it right to begin with, and I would toss some bats away just because they got too sticky. Imagine the battle you could have with having bare hands trying to do that.
0-2 to a walk, and just the second issued by Michaelis. The all-over print button-up shirt is coming up. Cardinals.com/promotions on June 29th. One-out walk here in the bottom of the 7th, so the tying run is aboard. The go-ahead run comes to the plate. Hernan Perez. Michaelis also gets a lot of ground balls. 6-4. Nope, can't turn the double play. Throwing wide of Martinez into the camera well. And I believe that'll be an error on Jed Jerko, and the inning is still alive. Fielder's choice E4. Cardinals committed 4 errors in game 1.
Wondering as a second baseman if that's a tough play, because even though he's not supposed to slide into you, played all these years with guys coming after you, but you still have that little bit, still have that little bit of fear.
So 2 outs here in the bottom of the 7th, and Mike Matheny is going to go to his pen, and Jordan Hicks. 3-2 our score. is brought to you by Budweiser. Wherever legendary MLB moments happen, Budweiser will be there. And by Ford, going further so you can. Jordan Hicks to face Manny Pena. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 7th. Hicks here in the month of June, a .90 ERA. 40 batters faced and only 6 hits allowed. Struck out 16. Medical team out to check on Hicks. I think Yachty may have picked up on something. Hicks kind of smiling as if to say, no, this is, I'm fine, no big deal. You can understand why the Cardinals are going to be extra cautious with a guy like Jordan Hicks. Got Eric Sogard on deck and a lefty getting loose. Gomber in the pen. A throw by Molina to third. Dropped initially by Carpenter, but not far enough away for Perez to advance. Stolen base number 6 for Hernan Perez. Could be big when you think about how tough it is to catch Jordan Hicks. Fastball sometimes gets through even the best in the game. That slider overthrows it. It's into dirt. Wild pitch. That's a key play potentially. And the 2-1. Thrown out at third, but Perez back in. Pena 2 at-bats against Hicks. A couple of strikeouts this year. Count of 3 balls and 1 strike.
Jordan's wondering where that pitch was.
On the pitch that was the stolen base pitch, looked to be a pretty good one too. So I think it might be a combination of the 2. Full count now. A ground ball hit to the right side. Jerko to his left, and he makes the play. So Hicks gets the key out here in the bottom of the 7th and stays 3-2. Earlier this year, Adrian Hauser made his major league debut. Last Sunday against the Phils, an inning, 2 hits, gave up a run. Brought up from AAA, part of a double switch. Eric Sogard takes over for Miller at second base, and the new pitcher, Adrian Hauser. And that's the 3rd pitcher used by the Brewers today. Jose Martinez, Marcell Ozuna, and Yadier Molina. There's a look at Sogard. But Norris starts to at least jog and get loose out in the Cardinals' pen. Austin Gomber had been throwing. We'll see if he continues. A couple of more walks today for Jose Martinez, and the first pitch is strike. Underway here in the top of the 8th. Martinez 0 for 1 with those 2 walks. Jordan Hicks threw 6 pitches. Into right, and the catch made. This week on Cardinals Insider, hear from Harrison Bader. Weekly player profile, plus the numbers on the outfield wall come to life in a new children's book. It's all coming up tomorrow at noon. Cardinals Insider on Fox Sports Midwest. A strike to Marcell Ozuna, who has walked and also singled against Jeffress. Brewers bullpen has been lights out first 3 games of this series.
All got great arms. I mean, every time you can go out there and bring in a guy throwing in the upper 90s, that's some special talent coming out of that bullpen.
3-1. For Ozuna. You take a look at our Budweiser plays of the game. Off the bat of Yadier Molina. Solo home run back in the 2nd inning. And then the 2-run homer in the 6th to put the Cardinals on top. You love that highlight, don't you?
Telling you what, that guy got really close to becoming a human whack-a-mole. It's a security guard down there or what? Obviously not watching the game. Watch your face. I'm going with 6 inches more, and he's got a baseball on the top of his nose. That wouldn't feel good at all.
Here's a 1-0. Ozuna running, hit up the middle, and a double play ball. Just some tough luck there for the Cardinals. Austin Gomber into the ball game. You get 3 lefties coming up potentially, starting with Sogard. Colton Wong takes over at second base, and this is our Chevy called to the pen. Jerko goes from second to third. Wong in at second base, and Matt Carpenter at first base. Gomber was 6 holds this month, at second in the National League.
I like this move. You bring in Jordan Hicks to get through that inning. You bring in Austin Gomber here to go after some of these lefties. A couple things that does, it gives Jordan Hicks another spot to put out a fire and then get him out of there.
One ball, one strike. Sogard, as you get a look at the Hyundai pitch arsenal, still struggling at the plate. One point he was demoted to AAA. There's that curveball. It's a hanger and into right center. Cut off by Pham, and Sogard stops at first base. Tying run aboard.
That breaking ball is way up. Sogard does a good job of hitting that ball in the gap. Tommy Pham does a nice job of keeping him to a single.
Eric Thames, 1 for 3 on the day. Get into a double play back in the second inning. Hitting 182, no homers against the lefties, 9 against the righties. Went on the DL back on the 25th of April, and he was a force prior to that. Good play by Molina to keep it in front. 2 balls and no strikes. The Brewers thinking late inning magic again.
That's the thing you have with the team. That's momentum that builds over the year, especially when a 1-run game. I mean, you're literally a walk, a base hit, or a walk and a double away from tying the game up, and you know the ball flies in here. You're one swing away from putting any kind of run on the board.
2-2. Little chopper to second. Wong, the tag applied for the out on to first. It's a double play. Outstanding by Colton Wong. Boy, that's a good play.
Take a look at this, but you're right. That's a nice play by Colton Wong. Does a good job of getting the read. Gets his feet ready.
How about the shadows now as the sun peeks through the windows down the right field line as part of the home plate area?
Start to come a little bit in play, but like I said, it's still, as long as that backdrop is dark, you got a better chance.
Hit by the pitch. Kane was hit back in the first inning. also got hit yesterday, and this one catches, it looks like, Yelich on the left hand.
Oof.
Tuivailala will face Ryan Braun with a runner at first and 2 outs in the bottom of the 8th in a 1-run game when we come back. To our score with 2 outs here in the home half of the 8th. Chevy called to the pen. And a guy that we know can do some serious damage coming to the plate, and Ryan Braun.
You got to make sure you keep the ball down with Ryan Braun. Especially down and away. He's got such a good level swing. He drives the ball to right center field so well. Right field, he can wait and wait and wait. Hit the ball the other way with the best of them.
Tuivailala took the loss on Wednesday against the Phillies. Gave up a home run late in that game. Just the 2nd home run allowed this year. Well, you're right, Jimmy. As well as he goes to the opposite field, they're holding Yelich. Big gap on the right side of the infield.
I'm more worried about that high fastball up and out over the plate that he can really just get into. He's got so much pop the other way. Not that tough for him to hit one out into the right center field bleachers.
First pitch taken low. You know Bud Norris would love another crack at the Brewers in a save opportunity. The walk-off last night. It's another tight game for the Cardinals. Braun came in his lone plate appearance back in the 6th inning. Did not start the game. That was Lorenzo Cain. He was hit by a pitch for the 2nd time in as many games and had to leave. Braun with only 2 hits in his last 6 that he's played in. The 1-1.
This is where you got to be careful. This is the pitch you got to make. You don't want to go 3-1 with Braun and have to throw him a fastball.
Two one, slowly hit to short. Nunez, no play. Infield hit for Braun. And the batter will be Shaw. This is it. It's going to be Tuivailala against Travis Shaw, who has walked, and he's 0 for 2.
And you can't really be too careful because you got the guy on deck who's pretty hot and got some pop.
Well, you think about a lefty, but that would be Cecil. And they could counter with Kratz or Arcia. They're going to stick with Tuivailala. So 2 outs and 2 on. Nobody getting loose in the Cardinals' pen. The other option is the potential of a 4-out save for Bud Norris, but they're going to let Tuivailala do it.
I think you can't go to the well too many times with Bud Norris.
And a strike.
It's one thing with throwing him out there a bunch to get some saves, but throwing him out there with 4 and 5 out saves where he's got to come in, get hot, sit down, go back out there. That's taxing on a guy. He's not used to doing that.
At the count now, 0-2. All his home runs have been against right-handed pitching, 14 of them. 0-2 pitch to Shaw.
It's a good pitch right there by Tuivailala. That's that cutter that's tough to lay off. If that ball's any closer to the plate, he's got to swing at it.
The 1-2. 2-2. Two pretty good pitches there on 0-2 and then 1-2.
Yeah, he's doing a good job of throwing the ball inside. Just to open up the outside part of the plate right here. Still have to make your pitch though.
Good speed at second. Yelich represents the tying run. Braun, the go-ahead run at first. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Tuivailala to Shaw. Bases loaded. Aguilar, the batter. Sac fly, RBI back in the first. He struck out and hit a soft liner to second. Bases loaded. 2 home runs yesterday. And the game on the line here in the bottom of the 8th. The 1-0 pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike. Aguilar shaking his head a bit, didn't like it, evens it up at 1-1. The 1-1. Puts it in play to short. Backhanded by Munoz. Throws a strike to first. Tui Valala out of the jam. Here's Jed Jerko. 3-2 our score, and the first pitch swung on. Jerko, Munoz, and Bader for the Cardinals. Jed is 0 for 3. Hauser, his second inning of work. 3-2 the score. Puts it in play into shallow right center. Yelich with the catch. And there's one away. Pitcher spot is due up. Looking into the bottom of the 9th, and Perez and Pena on their bench. They have Arcia and Eric Kratz. There's Jairo Munoz, who had to go deep in the hole on that ground ball hit by Aguilar. Showed off the arm in that final out in the bottom of the 8th. And there's a ball. He's 1 for 3 with a stolen base. Breaks his bat. That's in the crowd. Everybody's okay. The catch is made by Hauser. Boy, dangerous situation. thank goodness no one hurt.
So much for the Nets.
Wow.
It's a spear.
Bud Norris throwing in the Cardinals pen, and now it's Bader with 2 outs.
I'm just looking at that bat. The lady's holding that bat, and it literally looks like a spear at the end. It's so sharp.
Harrison over 3 with a pair of strikeouts today. And a fly ball lifted into right. We head to the bottom of the 9th of a 1-run game, and Bud Norris will try to pick up the save. For the Cardinals and the Brewers, 3-2 our score. Michaelis a chance at a win. He goes 6 2/3. Molina, pair of home runs. Anderson 5 innings. And Miller in his first game back up in the big leagues with Milwaukee, an RBI single. Our Chevy call to the pen takes us to Bud Norris. Took the loss yesterday and the walk-off homer that was hit by Aguilar. That's the beauty of baseball. You can bounce right back.
Play every day. Keep on going. You actually don't have a choice, you know. You got to go back out there and play.
So the backup catcher is Eric Kratz. And he'll be the pinch hitter, leaving Arcia as their lone bench player left. He was acquired from the Yankees back on the 25th of May. The first pitch by Norris is a strike. Perez to follow, and then Manny Pena. Nothing, and I mean nothing, has come easy on this trip for the Cardinals.
You ain't kidding.
Norris averaging nearly 12 strikeouts per 9, which is 6th best among relievers in the National League. Just the second loss that he suffered last night of the year. Walk off by Aguilar. And And the 1-2 pitch to Eric Kratz. Two and two. Swing and a miss. He struck him out to start the bottom of the ninth.
Good fastball right there by Norris. Stayed away from him. If you're going to give up a home run, or if you're going to give up the lead at some point as a closer, you're going to have to make him earn it. That means they're going to have to hit the ball the other way. The chance of them driving the ball out of the ballpark the other way are not as good as if you give them something to yank.
Hernan Perez is 0 for 3. He's only faced Norris one time, 0 for 1. Strike one. Brad Hand leads the National League along with Wade Davis with 21 saves. Oh, 2.
He's a good cutter. That's the thing too. As a closer, you can also feed off of the energy that the other guys are coming to the plate with, trying to end the game, trying to hit the big home run. You don't necessarily have to throw strikes all the time. He's going to get it close enough to make it look like a strike.
Norris trying to pick up save number 14. Michael is trying to hold on for win number 8. And the 0-2 pitch to Perez. Just got a piece. The 0-2 pitch to Hernan Perez. 1-2. Ground ball to short. Munoz, tough play and safe. Perez aboard the tying run. Potential winning run comes to the plate.
Good pitch, just a bad result. Didn't hit it hard enough. Kind of see, throw that pitch away when guys are trying to yank, trying to get the ball in the air, trying to win a game. Get a nice ground ball right there, just hit it in the wrong spot. Tough play for the shortstop Munoz to come in and make that play with somebody that can run.
Norris has converted on 13 of his 15 save opportunities this year. 10th overall in the National League. Manny Pena 0 for 1 against Norris, grounded into a double play. And And again, he's ahead in the count. 0-1.
Just nice and calm out there, nice and cool. Just 4 strikes. Don't get excited.
Perez had his 6th stolen base back in the 7th inning. You'd love to see that slider, middle outer half, get your ground ball, and Cardinals get out of here. And the Cardinals are going to challenge this late in the game. It was interesting. Carpenter applied the tag and then looked over to the bench as if to say, you know what, I think I may have gotten him. This late in the game, tight ball game, why not take the chance? So the play under review. It's a fine line for Mike Matheny. If you have a closer that's in a little bit of a groove, if you will, a rhythm, and then it's disrupted by taking a chance on the replay. Something to think about. And the 0-1. Now 0-2. Replay without question, whether it's in the 1st or the 9th, it does disrupt the flow of the game.
And Perez at first base, he had second base stolen right there. He tried to cheat and go and got a little nervous and stopped. Just took 2 steps before Buddy picked up his foot.
Oh-2 pitch, ground ball, could be 2. Out at second, the turn, double play, and the Cardinals hold on for a 3-2 win. Boy, did they need that one.
You're not kidding, Danny. That's a great ball right there by Bud Norris. He kept the ball down and away, and just like good closers do, you get the ground ball and get out of there.
And that's what we're going to do.
Without the ground ball.
Cardinals escape. Like we've said, nothing has been easy on this road trip, and it wasn't today. The Cardinals hold on for a hard-fought win. They take game 3 of the series. 3-2, Missouri Lottery Cardinals live comes your way next.